Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. It's December 21st. This is the Christmas edition for the In Deep on the Delta Weekly Fishing Report. I know you guys are busy enjoying the holidays. Hope everybody has a great time, and we're going to be here next week. We'll give you a report next week to see if anything is changing, if anything is going on out here. But let's get into this. We'll make it short. Crappie tournament last week out at Lazy M. What are we calling this one? The Crappie Closet first annual Christmas Delta Crappie Shootout. 9 boats showed up, absolutely brutal conditions, foggy, wet, cold. A group of great guys come out, enthusiastic crappie anglers, and you know they couldn't wait to get out there. Remember, tough fishing conditions. 9 boats, there were only 2 limits weighed in. The winning team was Grant and Bill, and they had 8.48 pounds. Second place was, you know, I don't travel in crappie circles. This name sounds familiar. I don't know. Obedy Williams was second with 6.68. Somebody said that guy fishes out here a lot. He catches a few bass. But I had the opportunity to get out and fish with Marlon Carpenter, the director. We did a little video. It'll be coming up next week. Marlon's going to get that crappie tournament trail going on the Delta, and I'm sure as this weather gets a little warmer and the crappie bite, the word gets out on the crappie tournaments and the crappie bite here on the Delta, it's going to be a really good time. So check that out. Next, we have Chris Starkie. He had his first meet and greet out at Tracy Oasis. That's Chris Starkie from HBXL Outdoors. Chris is going to be out there every Saturday. And again, this is Tracy Oasis. I'll leave Chris's number, how you can get a hold of him. For any new anglers or any kayak anglers that want to go out there, talk to Chris, maybe get set up with their boats, have any questions, talk about a tournament circuit that Chris is going to be starting. I will have an interview with Chris coming up. He has all his permits, and he's going to be doing a kind of entry-level kayak tournament here on the Delta. All of the tournaments will be here on the Delta, so we'll have that information in about a week or two. Along with that, I was out, got a chance to go out fishing with Mark Lassane from BAM Tournaments, Bass Angler Magazine Tournament Trail, and did an in-depth interview with Mark. That went up last Tuesday. Mark talks about some of the controversy that, the transition from Wild West to BAM. And he gives you all the information that you guys need to know to maybe if you're interested in looking for a Pro-Am, or a kayak circuit. The BAM tournament trail will cover all of those. So I'll give Mark's information in the remarks. So if you have any questions for Mark, you can talk to Mark. Let's get into river conditions. And I'll tell you, before we start talking about river conditions, the striper and the largemouth bass report, just remember, this is going to be a reset week. We've had these storms come in. I think we're going to continue to get rain. I've been dumped on a couple of times. I told you guys I'm not going to go out and fish in the rain. Once was an accident, and another situation I went out, we'll talk about a little later. Thanks to Rob, I went out and got soaked, I guess it was, Monday morning or something. Anyhow, everything that I say today is probably not going to be usable after this weekend, with the storms and everything came in. I got quite a few reports, but again, before the storms came in, this is going to be a reset, and things are going to be totally different after Christmas and when people start getting out. So what we've seen here on the Delta is the last couple weeks, it's been, I'd say, mid-50s to low 50s water temps, 55, go out in the morning, it's 50, maybe the sun comes up, it gets to 55. We're in that 50-degree mark. Water temperatures are starting out. I had 47 one day, got up to 52. So we're down below that dreaded 50-degree temperature mark, and the bass fishing has gotten tough. Striper fishing, that's a whole different story. But as we speak, depending on what the weather does out here, we've got very little pressure, very light pressure. You have the whole river to yourself, especially if you're fishing the central delta for largemouth bass at stripers. They're in, and they are in good numbers, just not in the central delta. I'd say anywhere from Prisoner Point on down into Stockton, there's fish out here, but they're not in huge numbers. If you want to go out and drift around some live bait, you're probably going to catch a fish or two. If you're really interested in catching stripers, we're talking about maybe going out. Most of my reports have been from anywhere, all the way from Sassoon Bay down through Pittsburgh, Grizzly Island, Rio Vista, Liberty Island is got a bunch of fish in it now, Big Break, Sherman Island, and there are catchable numbers in Frank's Tract, but after you get from Frank's Tract kind of into the central delta, it really dies off a lot. Now here's the situation. What do you want to do? You want to stay out west, and you can do anything you want, from trolling to jigging, spooning, you know, you can throw some big topwaters for bigger fish. A lot of my reports that I got were people that were jigging, vertical jigging in 20 to 40 feet of water. So think about that. Those people are probably fishing the channel. I know Alan Fong has been out. He's been doing really well fishing the flats with fish traps, and he's fishing in 2 feet of water. So the fish are spread out. Bottom line is, if you want to go out for stripers and have some fun, now is the time to do it. Stay out towards the Sacramento River, and whether you're a troller or a bait chucker or whatever you're doing, go out and have some fun, find the fish, and they shouldn't be, you know, it shouldn't be too hard to find. There's a lot of fish out there. Also, still getting reports, just a ton of fish down in Sassoon Bay. And, you know, I've talked to Jeff Suhu and a lot of people that know more about the stripers than I do, and they all seem to think that possibly as this rain comes in this storm, it's going to push stripers into the central delta. Now, take that with a grain of salt. Some of those fish may not come into the delta. They all don't come in at the same time, but with this rain coming in and some water pushing down there, we're going to get at least a percentage of those fish that are sitting out in Sassoon Bay start to trickle in, and it's going to give us, I'll say, a fortification of numbers of fish here in the central delta. I sure hope they come in down, say, past Prisoners Point, in around closer to Calaveras River, you know, head of the channel, that area. People can start really looking forward to some good fishing if that happens. So hopefully that's going to happen, and geez, all we do is keep our fingers crossed. Largemouth bass, boy, as soon as that water temperature hit, you know, 48, 50 degrees, for me, the bite really died. And also the people that are sending in reports, they were telling me it was getting tougher and tougher. There's no great pattern. I was out with Mark Lassane from Bass Angler Magazine. Mark's a pretty good fisherman out here, and we put in a good 8 hours. And by the way, before I get into telling you what Mark and I did, I also have put up a interview with Mark Tuesday. I think I already mentioned that, but check that interview out if you haven't checked it out. All about the new BAM Bass Anglers Magazine tournament circuit. So Mark and I were out. We fished from all the way up the McCollum, up around Beaver, fished our way back to the channel, you know, fished a little bit up and down the channel. I think we caught 12 fish all day, and I think maybe 3 or 4 of them may have been keepers. We caught a few on jerk baits. I think Mark caught a couple on crankbaits. We may have caught 1 or 2 on worms, and I think Mark tried to punch a little bit. There's nothing going on punching, no real pattern. Everybody's saying the same thing. Boy, all of a sudden it just dropped off and got tough. So fishing for bass, I think for the rest of the winter is going to be super tough. Who knows what's going to happen after this storm front comes in. I'm going to go out and give it a try. I will say I'm going to try to do a video coming up probably after the first of the year of, you know, preparing for winter. We'll talk about how you fish out here, mentally what you have to do, and I'll give you guys some ideas of some baits and techniques, and you know, can come out here and maybe catch a few fish. The main thing is for you guys that are out here fishing through the winter is to keep your mental stability. So when springtime comes around, you're not totally shot. By the time spring came around last year, it was such a brutal winter for us that I think there were several people ready to sell their gear and their boats. You don't want to be in that position because the bite's going to perk up, but we're going to have to wait for a few months. Good thing is old In Deep on the Delta is going to be out here, and I'll let you know if a bite comes on. So I'll tell you what I've done this last week, and I'm getting days mixed up because there's 2 times that I went out. I know Monday I got dumped on. I forget if I was out, I think I was out Friday with Mark. That was a nice day. I was out Thursday. I got dumped on that day. Thursday was a tough day. Fished for about 2 hours, had 3 or 4 fish in the boat. I thought that front moving in was gonna really do something. Storm came in, or some unexpected rain came in. I wasn't prepared for it at that minute, and by the time I got my rain gear on, and I should have been prepared. They didn't say it was going to rain, but I could see it was going to rain. Didn't put my rain gear on soon enough, got soaked. By the time I got everything on, I just didn't feel like fishing anymore. You know, it was dumping, pouring rain, so I came in. I thought maybe Friday, fishing with Mark, we'd find something. Nothing happened. I said, I'm not going out in this storm. Rob talks to me. Rob from the Bass Hole calls me and says, hey, let's go out Monday. I got a place we can go and catch a 15-pound fish. I said, okay. Met up with Rob Monday morning, got dumped on again. It was pouring rain. Rob took me out to one of his favorite lakes, and we looked for a big fish. Didn't get that big fish. Fishing was slow, but we put a decent limit in the boat of 5 fish, mostly on Rob's behalf on that. But you know, according to Rob, just like everything else, that lake that we fished, one of Rob's favorite lakes near his house there, just wasn't, you know, it was very tough. We ended up with 5 or 6 fish, but it was extremely tough. All the mother lode lakes have been tough. Haven't got a good report from pretty much anywhere in the Central Valley. So with that, guys, have a great Christmas. Talk to you guys next week, and I'll continue uploading videos, so keep tuned into the channel, give you guys something to do in between not going out fishing during these storms. So thanks for watching. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys next week.